Tonight, our special transmission as a New York Times investigation reveals a bomb smuggled months ago into Tehran's Guesthouse killed Ismail Haniyeh. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Today is the 302nd day since the onset of Israel's war on Gaza. At least 15 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a school, sheltering displaced families. Palestinian news agency reports an earlier airstrike in Khan Yunis has killed 4 Palestinians. The casualties include women and children. Israel's military says it has eliminated Mohammed al-Jabari, a senior figure from the Islamic Jihad movement. The group has yet to confirm. An Australian inquiry reveals an Israeli military attack on an aid convoy in April resulted from serious military failures. This tragic incident killed 7 workers from various countries, including Australia, Canada, Poland, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Palestine. New reports of misconduct within the Israeli forces have emerged. A former Israeli soldier has described acts of looting and destruction by troops in Gaza. He has highlighted a lack of discipline in the command structure. British Defense Secretary John Healey is in Israel to prevent further escalation in the region. Gaza remains in a crippling blockade. Most of the region's infrastructure is in ruins. Civilians are in desperate need of food, clean water, and medicine. The death toll from Israel's war continues to mount at an alarming rate. At the time of writing, at least 39,480 Palestinians have been killed. Out of these, 16,314 are children. 99,128 civilians are injured. A report in British medical journal The Lancet estimates that the number of casualties in Gaza may be as high as 186,000. Israel is accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The court has ordered Israel to immediately halt its military operations in the city of Rafah. Ismail Haniyeh, the former political chief of Hamas, has been laid to rest in Doha, Qatar. Thousands gathered to pay their final respects to Haniyeh at Qatar's largest mosque, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Later, Haniyeh's body was transferred to a cemetery in Lusail, north of Doha. The service saw attendance from high-profile dignitaries. Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and Turkey's Vice President Cevdet Yilmaz. Leaders from Palestinian factions such as Fatah and Islamic Jihad also attended the funeral. In Turkey, flags have been lowered to half-mast. The nation is observing a day of mourning. Large crowds from various cities, from Jakarta to Istanbul to Karachi, offered symbolic funeral prayers for Haniyeh. U.S. President Joe Biden has expressed concern that the violence in the Middle East might escalate. Biden says the assassination has hindered efforts to negotiate a ceasefire deal and return of prisoners from Gaza. In Lebanon, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah has declared that the war with Israel has entered a new phase. Iran has initiated an investigation into Haniyeh's assassination. A special committee composed of members of the intelligence forces, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and police has been formed. A report by the New York Times reveals Ismail Haniyeh has been killed by a bomb that had been smuggled into his Tehran guest house 2 months prior. The explosive device was remotely detonated once Haniyeh was confirmed to be inside his room. The explosion resulted in Haniyeh's death and that of his bodyguard. The attack also caused significant damage to the building. Haniyeh had been in Tehran for the inauguration of Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian. Initial speculation suggested that the explosion was caused by an Israeli drone strike. Palestinian Islamic Jihad leader Ziad al-Nakhala was staying nearby but was unharmed. This indicates the precise planning of the attack. The damaged guest house is located near the Sadabad complex and is now covered with a tarp with debris visible outside. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that any future attacks on Israel will come with a very high price. He issued this threat following recent strikes that killed prominent Hezbollah and Palestinian commanders. In a strategic meeting with military officials, Netanyahu confirmed the deaths of Hezbollah's Fuad Shukr and Hamas's Mohammed Deif. Netanyahu says Israel is ready for any scenario. He says, "Whoever harms us, we will harm them." Israeli media outlet Haaretz reports a Palestinian detainee allegedly raped by Israeli soldiers has returned to the Detainee detention center. The prisoner sustained severe injuries, including a ruptured bowel and broken ribs, and had to be hospitalized. The decision to move him back to a field hospital in the same facility has sparked condemnation from human rights groups. Group Physicians for Human Rights argues that returning the detainee to his alleged abusers is a grave ethical lapse. There are numerous testimonies from former detainees of being abused at the Detainee facility. The Israeli High Court had previously ordered an explanation for the facility's conditions. Recently, 9 soldiers from Force 100 were detained following allegations of assault. However, far-right Israelis strongly opposed their arrest. Riots erupted in and around the facility. University of St. Andrews in the United Kingdom has dismissed Stella from its governing body. Marist had condemned Israel's actions in Gaza as genocidal in an email sent last November. The email called for a ceasefire and criticized Israel's policies. An inquiry by the university concludes Marist's actions displayed poor judgment. Marist will retain her title as rector until her term ends in 2026. Marist has expressed disappointment. She argues the decision reflects a suppression of critical voices on Israel's policies. The university's move has sparked criticism. Activists say that the university's action has emboldened Israeli actions. The European Legal Support Center calls the decision discriminatory. Marist plans to appeal the decision. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.